Welcome back to Midlife Crisisses. I'm Tyson, one of the hosts. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing. All of that stuff helps us continue to do this podcast, and we would appreciate if you would continue to do that each and every episode. We love you guys so much. We want to keep doing this, and that is one of the ways to guarantee. Nothing in life is guaranteed.
Guarantee it. Yeah,
okay, that we will keep doing this. So smash that subscribe button, that like button, that follow button, whatever buttons are there, smash them all.
And we really want to hear from you guys too. We want to hear about your midlife crises. We want to know what kind of stuff you are going through so that we can talk about it and share our insights about trying to survive this bull as well. So
let's get into it.
What have you guys done in the realm of looking young, feeling young, etc.? Any of the kind of stuff that maybe you would have been like, that's ridiculous when you were younger and you're like, I'm a dude.
I used to be very judgmental about people doing these sorts of things. And there's no too far if it's going to make you feel confident.
I use this little mini vacuum to suck out all the blackheads. They all suck into a little jar, and then you can look at them all floating around like a bunch of sea monkeys.
We're the Midlife Crisisses, 3 dudes. Bunch of crises, more than 3, but we're all here. I'm Tyson Apostol. We also have William Drumm. What's up, William?
Hey, everybody.
Yeah. And Bradley's here
Drumm.
William, the man of many words. He's reading off a teleprompter, guys. I think that's what happened. It just got stuck. No. William's got a sweet hat. I haven't seen the Quicksilver hat before, but it's very on brand for you. It's great.
Yeah, I got a bunch of new hats because I was jealous of Tyson, so I got like 5 new ones.
Oh man, you'll
Is
never.
That true?
Don't try to keep up with Tyson with hats. I just don't imagine that's possible. Even Lids, the store, is like, let's pull it back, guys.
True.
It could be. I don't have any new hats as of late, but I need to get on that again. We also have Bradley here. Those that don't recognize for the video, he is clean shaven for the first time in a decade.
More than a decade and a half, 15 years.
And a half, which is really a freak show to the kids. Like I cut my hair a week ago.
Yeah, that's right.
And my kids both.
Right.
Your daughters were 2 like, nope. Crying kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do not. Why did you cut your hair? And I was like, because it tickled the back of my neck sometimes. And they're fine now. They no response whatsoever now. But yeah.
No, day one was a little bit rough. I thought my 5-year-old would be more of a protester. He's very sensitive to those types of things. And he was like, I gave him a lot of leeway leading up to it. Like, hey, my cheeks are going to be smooth like your cheeks. You know, I'm going to win. And he was like, no, you're not. And then my daughter, I was like, this is how it's going to be. And she's like, okay, no big deal. Okay, no big deal. And then I show up and she's like, I can't even look at you. She went in her room and cried. And it was too much. It was too overwhelming for her. Even my wife was like, she just raised her hand to try to block the lower part of my face.
Wow.
And she's just like, maybe you could go work at a coffee shop today for like 12 hours.
And you were like, I thought you loved me no matter what.
That's what I was saying. I've clearly winnowed down what you like about me. It's not my
comments
soul.
About you looking younger?
My brother was like, you look like you just graduated college. This is kind of what I looked like in college, actually. And some other college friends, my college roommates, I sent it to them and they were like, dude, is this our sophomore year? Like, you have not aged a day. And I was like, I'm into that. I'll take that as a compliment.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's
Rowan loves when my beard is shaved. Like, she pretty much won't let me give her kisses if I have any stubble at all. So I was like, Daddy, you need to shave.
Yeah. You got to get past the stubble to get to the smoother beard section. But this leads into the question today, which has a lot to do with this, which is kind of self-care. It's kind of a longer question, but a simple thought, which is, what have you guys done or thought about doing in the realm of looking young, feeling young, etc.? Everything from botox to hair transplants to facials, manicures, any of the kind of stuff that maybe you would have been like, that's ridiculous when you were younger and you're like, I'm a dude. Now, and also the second question is like, how far is too far? A couple weeks ago, we talked about fashion and like what annoys you and stuff like that. And, hoodies or socks and Crocs or just dress the way you want or whatever. But I'm curious, like, how much, I think culturally, I feel like there's a much more acceptance around that type of like, you're an older guy, but like, do you dye your hair? You didn't used to, do you have a skincare regimen? I think you guys talked about that. Even William just talked about using baby shampoo on his little tiny eyelids. And so I'm just curious, like, have you guys thought about that? Have you thought about those things? And then do you have people around you who have done that? So I'm just curious what your experience is around that.
Definitely. You said dyeing your hair. I actually use like a anti-gray shampoo, so it's not like dye. You use it every day to make your hair less gray.
Okay.
And I've used it for so long that I kind of just almost forgot that I do it. But then recently I had 2 different people be like, "Oh, you dyed your hair." And I was like, no.
Because that seems like a cheat a little bit, right? Like, it's almost like, no, I don't dye my hair, I do this. Like, so
Yeah.
I also want to unpack that. Like, how come we're not okay with like, yeah, because I want to look young, I dye my hair. Like, why is that not just okay?
So
my
what
wife
did you
dyes
say?
her hair.
Yeah. What was your answer?
I just said I've been doing the same thing I've always done. But then also around the same time, I had somebody who I was hanging out with, a girl who I went on a couple dates with, tell me that she swiped on me because of my gray hair. So, and that she loves the gray.
Wisdom.
So right around the time when I have people calling me out for using like this dye, somebody else is telling me that I should just go full gray, not full
natural
gray, but whatever I am.
Yeah.
So yeah, I haven't been using it for the last couple weeks, and I'm thinking about not using it anymore.
And can you see a difference right now that you haven't been using it, or is it going to take time for the hair to grow out and stuff?
Probably when I get a haircut.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I have a lot of thoughts on this, Bradley. A lot of thoughts.
Good.
I have so many thoughts. First of all, and I used to be very judgmental about people doing these sorts of things and like, oh, why not try like to do some other stuff first? But after time and trying to be mature about it, if you can afford to do these things and it's going to make you more confident and happier, then you should do those things.
Whatever they are.
Whatever they are.
There's no too far.
There's no too far if it's going to make you feel confident and better about yourself.
I think that's good.
That's what we want for people is that. But then it's like if you go too far and then your confidence is now, punched down a little bit, like that's hard to reverse those things too, I think in some capacity. The only thing I do is face regimen with lotion and oil and toner. And even then I am not very strict on that. I haven't done it for like 2 weeks. Like I've just washed my face and been good. But I know guys who have done Botox. I personally don't like the look of it. But again, if they are out there feeling like way better about themselves, then good for them. I wouldn't feel better about myself if I was them. By the way, I think it looks, but
but clearly you're not entertaining that because of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I also take pride in, for myself, and this is probably, it's like, you know how there's like those women who are like, I did an all natural birth in a swim pool, and they're like, that's on their resume. And it's like, for me, my resume is like, I've done nothing artificial to my face.
Yeah.
Like I'm just aging however I age, gonna try and keep it together as best I can. And this is what you're getting. And that will be on my resume. And I will be as proud of that as the women who are like, so how'd you get, you went to the hospital? What a disappointment.
Sorry for your child.
You probably couldn't connect with, like whatever. It's so,
there's
I don't
so much shame around motherhood.
Yes.
That's a whole thing. I mean, as a mom, you can't really do right. You can only just not do wrong. Like, I feel like that's, as a dad, you just show up and people are like, best dad ever.
Hero
he knows
of the
his
year.
kids' names. Wow. Unbelievable.
A dad with a kid at a grocery store? Unheard of.
Unheard of. Bring the news in. We need to cover this.
But
it's so true.
But that's how I don't know if that's a universal feeling, but I take pride in being like, all natural here, gonna be all natural till I die.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Well, okay. How about hair? Because I feel like hair is kind of like in the middle, and you have great hair.
I have great hair.
But let's say you didn't. Let's say you had like a receding hairline, or you're starting to bald at the top. Shave it totally.
Yeah.
Go for it. Just
Yep.
He's thought about this clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second it's thinning or on its way out, I'm just gonna keep it shaved.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about growing mine out for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've got a great head of hair.
You do.
Yeah.
Let's see that hairline. It looks good.
Got a solid hairline.
Dude,
gets a little puffy, but if I'm going to embrace the gray, I might as well embrace the mop as well.
Get a great pony.
Get a great pony.
Ask us before going public with the pony, I think. I'm not saying no. You may want some extra eyes on that one before you make its debut.
I used to do I was a man bun guy. I also did the sloppy
True Detective
you were too?
Pony.
2 man bun guys?
No, I wasn't. I just like how he says that.
He wants to, yeah. Oh. I was a man bun guy, and then I also did the True Detective lazy sloppy pony. That makes it look like you've had it in your hair for a long time. And there's ways to do a pony that you can get away with. But how about you, Bradley? Because you just shaved. Everybody flipped out. Did that make you feel like you needed to go get some injections or do something to get a hair transplant to get that beard in there quicker?
You know what? For me, it was a hair thing more than I don't think I've ever really considered botox or any kind of like injections. Yeah, that was like a title of when I was hosting a podcast, or not a podcast, a pop culture news show. We were doing like a trend, and it was botox, like gym dudes getting their face buffed too.
Okay.
But I hadn't considered really plastic surgery or anything like that. When I was younger, I hated my ears because basically I came out of the womb with my ears as an adult ears and my hands as adult hands. So I got made fun of Dumbo and stuff like that. People would call me that like on the bus or in school. And so I was really self-conscious of my ears, and my hands were big, but I didn't know that until a really embarrassing moment in my freshman year of high school when I was hanging a poster, because you needed a visual aid for your presentation. I was hanging a poster on the wall, and my teacher stopped me mid-conclusion because, you need so in conclusion, these rocket boots will, and she was like, stop, put your hands back on the wall. And I was like, okay. And she's like, class, are those not the biggest hands you've ever seen? I was just like, granted, my hands are what they are now, which are big, but I was 5'3", 135 pounds. So it was like gorilla hands, like dragging on the ground. And she was like, you could use that calculator poster on the wall. I mean, it was like something out of like,
wow, she was roasting you.
Yeah. And then she's like, okay, you're adjourned for lunch. So of course, what does everyone at lunch want to do? Come up to the table and like hold their hands up to mine. So that became a whole thing.
Yeah.
But
you didn't say, you know what they say about guys with big hands.
Yeah.
Some people said that, and I didn't know, but I was smart enough to play along. I was like, I know. Yeah.
It's true.
It's true. As I could see people's faces being like, whoa. Then I was like, it's true. Because I didn't know. It's not true. Is it true? I don't know.
Yeah.
So that was a good thing. But so it was never plastic surgery or anything like that. For me, it was hair. I remember being 30.
I don't even know how you'd get a hand reduction.
Just take off the top digit, Doc. If you could just remove the top digits. There's no way. I just had to grow. I had to grow into my body, which happened. I was just kind of like an awkward high school kid.
There was a kid in my high school who was born with 2 thumbs on one hand.
Okay.
I think I might have shared this before. And then they chopped off half of each of them and then sewed them together. So he had 2 thumbs coming out, and they just chopped off half of
lengthwise.
each lengthwise,
Whoa.
sewed them together. So he just had like one fat thumb with a scar running all the way up it.
Wow.
I don't know why they didn't just chop off one of them, but
or keep both of them.
Or keep both of them. Would have been epic.
Wow. I would love to follow up. Where's that guy now? I want to hear his story.
He was an ICP guy.
What's that mean?
Insane Clown Posse.
Oh, so he'd show up with like his face painted and stuff?
He would have fit in.
He was a juggalo?
Yeah, he was a wicked juggalo. If he had 2-3 thumbs, I feel like they would have loved it. I don't know.
They would have loved it. It's true. It's true. They would have loved it.
3 thumbs up.
Yeah.
I did Invisalign because when I was a kid, I was like, I should have braces. My parents were like, that's too expensive. And then my sister, who's 3 years younger than me, was like, I don't need braces. And they're like, we're going to go ahead and get you braces. And I was like, what the? She didn't even want them, and then she got them. So I did Invisalign this is probably started that maybe 8 years ago, 7 years ago, something like that. So I've done stuff like that. There was a moment when I was like, if I get to the place where a hair thing matters, I'd be open to that. You see a lot of Steve Carell from early Steve Carell,
Joel McHale.
I mean, almost everybody that you think they've got great hair. It's like Chris Pratt. It's like, well, because they've had $30,000 worth of hair surgery, and really, in a lot of ways, that
I don't want to miss
elongates your
people out.
career.
We gotta call out more people because
Look it up.
What's the comedian?
Let's see.
He does the YouTube show. Tosh.
Oh, Tosh
Daniel
Point
Tosh,
out that whole thing.
Daniel Tosh. He got that too.
Let me just Google
Elon
this.
Musk.
Men
Elon
celebrities
Musk.
who have had hair transplants.
But you did say teeth stuff. I did too. I did Invisalign. So I had braces as a kid. I didn't want them. And then I didn't wear my retainers after, so they just went back. So my parents just flushed money down the toilet.
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Well, I did braces. I hated them. They gave me my retainers.
Everybody does.
I went to school with my retainers, and I was the class clown. I tried saying something funny, but instead I mumbled something that I couldn't pronounce and drooled at the same time. Took those retainers out straight to the trash. Never wore them again.
No.
That was day one. As everybody laughed at me in the class as I was like, and then drooled.
And, buddy.
Yeah. And it was probably such a good line. Anyway, so I did that.
Been chasing that line the rest of my life. I can't even find that line.
But I've always taken pretty good care of my teeth. I do bleach them if I'm going to be on camera for something important. So if I'm going into a season of TV or something, I do get them whitened. And I just do it at home with trays and whitening gel. But my teeth were never that bad crooked wise. And I actually got a lot of compliments of they're imperfect, but in kind of a perfect way. So they're real. But they're not so crazy and gnarly. But my dentist was like, this bottom one is kind of hitting the back of the front top one. And that's going to cause a problem, as it's either going to create some loosening and some wearing down. So you might want to consider. So that's when I did Invisalign. So I say it was more for health purposes to keep those teeth healthy than to anything.
Than cosmetic.
But I did do that, and the whitening thing I do. And people do ask all the time. And I've actually gotten recognized by my teeth before. People were like, we thought it was you, Tyson. We were following you around, and then when we saw you laugh, we could tell because of your teeth.
Molar A7. Cool. I was like, that's him.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Usually it's my voice that people recognize, but somebody was like, we had to wait until we saw you smile so we could see your teeth, and then we knew it was you.
Oh, that's funny. So it's a bit of a signature element.
I guess so. So I do small things like that people would probably consider. I do get manis and pedis from time to time, but just out of boredom for fun. And I've always done that. I've done that since I was 20 years old. If I had extra $100 to go and just sit in a chair and get funny toenails
just
painted.
Go relax.
Yeah. Relax and get funny toenails, get French manicures with something silly. Where
would you do that? You got French That's hilarious.
Yeah. French pedicures. Yeah. We do whatever.
Gosh.
We do it all. Which William doesn't even know what a French pedicure is.
No idea.
It's when they give you a pedicure, and then what they do for the nail polish
French kiss your toes?
No, it's a line on front. It's a white line on front of each toenail.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's done very well. Elegant.
Yeah. It's elegant. So we would do stuff like that. But that was never out of vanity. Yeah. And then other than that, I do jazzercise. I bought a jazzercise because those things were the rubber ball things that you just
I thought you were mispronouncing jazzercise.
No.
And I was like, am I hearing that weird?
Jazzercise, I think is what it's called.
No, that's funny. That makes sense.
I got caught in in the algorithm on Instagram, and it was just like, check out how ripped these guys' jawlines are. And I was like, I should get a better jawline. So I ordered one, and then I was like, I'll never use this. It's so, because you slobber while you're using it, and you're like, glug, glug, glug. So I was like, so I put it in the shower, put it up high where it stays clean. And I was trying to do it every time I was showering. And then when you drool, it just drools in the shower. But I've noticed no better jawline from it. So I haven't been I haven't really been using it that much.
You got to see results or it's out.
Exactly. So yeah, that's it. And yeah, I mean, I can't think of anything else I do, but I probably do other stuff.
I never even like washed my face until like recently. When I was younger, I wouldn't even use soap in the shower. I would just stand in the shower and just use the water. And then I
was
eventually
this a
learned to
conscious
shower.
like, I don't want to use soap, or it's just like, man, I don't need soap. I'm a dude.
Yeah, just didn't really care. And then I never washed my face until very recently. And we were talking about how I get styes, and so does Bradley. So maybe that was involved too, was never washing my face. Could have contributed to it. But now, after I met my friend who works as an esthetician, and she gives great facials, and she does the hydration facials and the extractions, and they're beautiful. They feel
that
good.
Stuff is
great.
Actually that's a great lead in too, because I feel like that's one of those things that I've always seen. I'm like, I bet that's great, but I would feel a little weird walking in and being like, give me the facial that all the girls on Instagram are getting, where it's like it sucks out your pores. I'm like, it seems
so cool,
but I bet it's awesome.
Yeah, you do need it is awesome. I've gotten facials in the past, and I probably should do it more. I haven't had one for probably a decade. But yeah, I think that's
the technology is definitely upgraded.
Yeah, I should do that.
The little mini vacuum, they use this little mini vacuum to suck out all the blackheads.
Yeah.
And they all suck into a little jar, and then you can look at them all floating around like a bunch of sea monkeys.
And then how often do you need to get that done?
Yeah,
like how long does it take for the blackheads to fill back up?
I think every few months is good.
Okay,
that's kind of what I do.
That feels like that's doable. That kind of makes me want to look into it.
Yeah,
and it's really fun. It's a great experience. If you like the person,
are there? Yeah, you have to. You have to be dating the person to is that way to enjoy it.
I'm screwed.
I also fairly recently got a bunch of stuff zapped off of me. So I went in for a skin check.
Yeah.
And basically I did a couple. So the way it works with insurance is they can remove
like 2 or 4
a certain number of things if there's like a medical reason, or if the doctor's cool, she'll do it anyway.
Yeah.
So I went
in and
make
up a medical reason.
Yeah.
They're always like, we thought maybe it could be something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she went in and she removed all the something keratoses or something like that. They're like little skin deposits, which was great. It was a good start. But then I went to my friend, the esthetician, for a facial, and I let her go to town, and she burned off like 15 or 20 of the little strawberry or raspberry things. I forget what they're called. They're like,
they're the red colored ones.
The red colored ones. My dad had so many of them when I was growing up.
Those too. Yeah.
I've got one on my face right here, actually, that I got to get like
a facial
blasted off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she removed like all of those for me, and it was really good.
On just your face or on your body?
I didn't have any on my face, all on my body.
So all over your body. Your esthetician also like did stuff on your back and your body and stuff too. Interesting.
Yep. That's why you got to be dating your anesthetician.
Yes.
Like,
we're not dating.
Hook that up.
We're not dating, but I should go in.
Friend.
I should travel to Denver to get this done.
Yes. Big discounts.
That's one of the things I am very self-conscious of, or was growing up, was my skin, because I come from a moly family. So lots of moles, and I hate it. And I always hated my moles growing up. I always wanted them gone. I wanted perfectly clear skin, and I never had that. And, but it was also exaggerated in my mind. I think like when I look at pictures and stuff, I'm like, oh, it's not as bad. I just pictured myself with just like moles everywhere. And I've had a lot of them removed. Like I would go in when I was younger, and be like, just get everything off there that you can. And so, yeah. And my daughter, my 9-year-old, we were at the beach last year and they were all covered in sand. So we showered them off, and she got out of the shower and had her like an open back dress on. And she got a look of her back through like some weird mirror angle at the hotel. And she has 3 giant moles on the center of her back. And she was like, can somebody, I guess I didn't get all the sand off of me. I have sand why am I still? And I was like, and we were like, those are moles. And she's like, I've never seen my back before. And I was like, we thought it was I guess that's true. Funny, but also I remember how self-conscious I was of my skin and moles. So I was like I let it settle for a day or two. And then I was like, do you like your moles on your back? How do you feel about those? Cause she has like my family has beauty marks. Yeah. My dad has one, and my oldest daughter has one in the same spot, and super cute. But like, who knows? I don't know what people are self-conscious of all the time. And you need to try and be aware of that. So I asked her about the moles on her back. I was like, do you like those? And she's like, kind of. And I was like, do they bother you? And she's like, no. It's like, okay. So I was like, when they do bother you, I didn't say that to her, but we'll check in from time to time.
They're terrible. And when you come around to understanding that, you let me know.
Yeah. So I'll check in from time to time.
That's smart. That's good dad move. That's good dad move right there.
Yeah.
Not leading the witness, just being open to the situation.
Yes.
Yeah. So I had a mole removed off of my head, like up here. You can see it. And it was not a big mole. It was like super small, but I was in there anyway, getting some stuff burnt off. And I was like, hey, what about this? She was like, oh, it's not dangerous. Like, we could remove it. It would just be a little thing. And then she took out like a huge chunk of my forehead, just like a dime-sized piece of forehead to remove a tiny mole that, like, if I would have known, I probably wouldn't have got it removed in the first place. So you've got to be careful with those things.
You do.
Because the dermatologist, I just want to cut.
And they didn't tell you? They didn't tell you that scar tissue would...
That it was going to be big like that? No, she was like, oh, yeah, we'll just,
Yeah. Oh, no problem. We got this. And then they do and you're like, oh, you should
bring in the shovel.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah. It looked like a bullet hole in my head for like 2 months.
Oh my gosh. Is that what you told people it was?
Yeah.
I was shot in downtown Denver heading to the aquatic center.
I had when I got in my bad bike accident after high school, and like I got the road rash and everything, I had like a huge hole in my back right here.
Yeah.
And one time we were out wakeboarding here in Colorado with some people we didn't know, and we told them that I got shot, and we played it off the entire trip. Everybody on the day trip thought that I'd been shot.
To this day, someone's like, Billie Eilish's photographer? Yeah, he was shot. Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, they are still talking about that. I had a friend, maybe, have I told the story of the kid who lied about being Donny Osmond's son?
Nope.
So I had a friend in high school.
This true crime podcast segue here.
After high school, he looks exactly like Donny Osmond. He's like, and he started dating a girl and led with, I'm Donny Osmond's son, just as a joke. And she believed it. She told her whole family. They dated for months. He met the family under the guise of being Donny Osmond's son. He finally was like, I have to tell her. And he told her he wasn't Donny Osmond's son, and she broke up with him. Just like that. And it was so funny. I was like, I mean, you should do that every time, and we should create a show around this.
100%.
Yeah.
It's some type of catfishing, ultimately.
Yes. Yeah. So it was, be honest with the people you're dating.
I think that's a good takeaway.
Yeah. But still hilarious that you told him you'd gotten shot. Anything else? What else do you do, Bradley? Do you do anything else?
A couple years ago, I was at the dermatologist. We were living in Brooklyn, and they were like, oh, there's actually something on the back of your neck, which I'd noticed before, and I would like shave my neck and would like kind of nick it. Oh, it's just this little like brown thing that kept growing. And ultimately they ran tests, and they were like, yeah, that's cancer. So come on back in and let's scoop it out. And they do a surgery called Mohs, MOHS, where they take a real thin slice and they freeze it, and then they stick it under the microscope, and they're like, yep, there's cancer there, so it could be on the next level. Let's take another slice. So kind of like you, William, it was a tiny little dot, like this, the size of, I don't know, like somewhere between like a pea and the ballpoint pen, but they had to cut like a football shape just because of the way that they could stitch it back and leave no scar. But they were like, you're way too young to be having this. And it was just because I'm a guy and I'm outside a lot. When I do stuff with race cars and stuff like that, I'm on the track. I'm not really thinking about my neck, maybe my face, but I also went to the beach a ton as a kid. I was an athlete, so I was outside. Totally. So, and my skin is fair. Like my.
How old are you?
Let's see. I'm 44, so I was 38. I was 38 when that happened. And so they were like, we recommend every 6 months for you for a dermatology, not just like once a year.
Do you still do it every 6 months?
Yeah. And haven't had anything since then, but I'm so much more aware now than ever before. So like my daily moisturizer has SPF in it. If I know I'm going to be outside for a long time, I'm either pre-sunscreen or I'm wearing like a bucket. I wear like a bucket hat at the pool now because I'm just like, I don't want to mess with that.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
My mom's had stuff on her nose, had to be zapped off, and her cheeks and stuff. Because when I grew up, it was like, go to the beach, like spray yourself with oil and burn. It was like you got your initial, like, let me sunburn first, and then I can suntan. And it was like,
sunburn, we just peel off the first couple layers.
Exactly.
And then under there, you'll have that fresh, tender skin that can tan.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
We lived in Australia, too. We lived in Australia too when the hole in the ozone was really bad there.
Yeah.
And we would get the worst sunburns like
in 20 minutes. Remember, like you could just roast in no time.
I bet you looked so ripe.
Very ripe.
Yeah.
And then I had the same thing, Bradley, when I was like 20 years old. Right after I studied abroad in Australia, I was working on a boat and getting sunburned all the time on the back of my neck. Came back and had like an itchy spot for like 6 months that wouldn't go away. And then same thing, had a basal cell carcinoma back there.
Exactly
they cut off.
What mine was.
And luckily nothing ever since.
I had a precancerous mole here on the front of my neck, but that was so long ago, I don't even remember. And they removed it twice. It grew back kind of, and they removed it. But I think it was not that serious. But I do now, after this conversation, I should find a doctor and have a doctor and also a dermatologist, because I right now have neither of those.
Last time I was at the dermatologist, she was telling me about this new supplement that they have done a bunch of research about. And this supplement, niacinamide.
That sounds familiar.
It's shown to reduce the chances of skin cancers by like a crazy amount, like 20 or 40% or something like that. And it's rare that a doctor will recommend a supplement. But she's like, there's a lot of clinical data about this supplement. You should take it every day, and it'll greatly reduce your chances of skin cancers.
Huh. And you're sure that's the name of it?
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to look into that. I actually have a dermatology appointment in a couple of weeks, so I'll talk to them then.
It's topical or you ingest?
Ingest.
Okay. Huh. Okay. I see it on here. I'll put that aside and save it for later. Anything you would tell your younger selves as far as a routine, like get on something earlier than you did?
I mean, the skin stuff for sure. Just sunburns are bad and they just get worse and worse. Bradley was saying a second ago about his mom getting stuff removed. My poor mom gets stuff removed like every 6 months. Like one time she had a squamish cell on the top of her head that was like huge, and she lost a bunch of hair from it. She had stuff on her nose that was really brutal. So just be careful of the sun. And nowadays, I work a lot of time. I'm in the ocean, working on a boat all day, and I go full ninja mode these days. I have a buff covering my face. I've got a hat. I've even got gloves sometimes. Like literally, I look like a ninja out there. Everybody else is in their board shorts and nothing else. And I'm covered head to toe in sun protective gear because, it sucks.
I wear a dad's swim shirt. Fresh. Yeah, I wear a dad's swim shirt.
Like a rash guard?
A rash guard. Only if I'm going to be somewhere where, like, I don't go to the pool and sit in it all day. If I'm at the pool, I make sure I'm in the shade most of the time or wear sunscreen because dad's shirt's at the pool. I don't have the confidence. And, but if I'm out in the ocean, it's like, yeah, I'm fine here because it kind of looks like I could be surfing or doing something. But yeah.
Even at the pool, I'm usually like, yeah, everybody else is just in board shorts and I've got like my full gear on, like all
scuba
the way.
Tank.
I can't wait till
everything.
Rowan gets a little bit older so she can just get so embarrassed at the pool.
Yeah. I'll just make sure to have my shirt on most of the time. Like if I'm in the water, cool, I'll take my shirt off and play. But then as soon as I'm out of the water, I just put my shirt back on and then I can hang out and stuff. So yeah, there's ways around that. But I would say skin stuff too, as a younger, and also take care of your teeth for sure. But because those are not replaceable, really. I mean, I guess they kind of are. But skin stuff, sunscreen, take care of your face, skin especially, because that's exposed all the time.
And the most sensitive.
And if I could go back in time, I would have, because, 20 years ago, it was just like, who can get the darkest?
Yeah.
And it was like a contest. And I have pictures of me where I'm like 20 and I literally look like the old lady with the leather suit.
Magda from yes. What was something about Mary?
Yes, exactly.
Just leather dripping skin.
Yes. And and that's how dark we would get. And it was just like, you'd go up, you'd be like, oh, I'm more tan than you. Oh, and that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So
no.
Take care of yourselves out there, because then you have to take care of yourself less. Maintenance is easier than emergency.
That's good.
So, should we shut this down?
Yeah, I think that's it. The takeaway is care. You care.
Take care
and
of
it's
yourself.
so easy. It's so easy. Yeah,
so easy.
Small changes will make big differences.
Yeah, everyone take care of themselves. Thank you all for tuning in. Like, you guys. Subscribe, do everything. I know that you guys are liking the podcast. I get a lot of positive feedback about it from a small number of people. So if you people that are giving us positive feedback can share it with other people you think would like it, that would be incredible for us. Until next week, see ya.
Keep on crisising.
Peace.